کشیده شده و بعدا 4 جواب بر شما داده میشه که A, B, C, D. یکی از این جوابا معنای درست همین لغت است که شما توقعی است که شما هم معنای درستش انتخاب بکنید. So let's start the first question. They allowed John to use his dictionary. So what is the meaning of allowed? A, stopped. B, permitted. C, encouraged. D, discouraged. Which one is the correct answer? Think about it. Question number 2. He wears casual clothes to school. What does casual mean? Casual means A, modern. B, traditional. C, informal. D, chic. Which one is the correct answer? We have studied all of these words. None of these are new words. Okay, they're all the ones that we did before. So let's look at the first one. They allowed John to use his dictionary. The correct answer is permitted. So permitted means the same as allowed, and that in Farsi means ijaz aladan. So they allowed John to use his dictionary. Number 2. He wears casual clothes to school. What is the meaning of casual? What's your answer? A, B, C, D. Which one did you choose? The correct answer is informal. Casual clothes means what? Libas غير رسمي. Okay, so casual means not rasmi. Formal is rasmi, and informal or casual means غير رسمي. So the words are what? Please repeat after me. Allowed means permitted, and casual means informal. Question number 3. The teacher purchased a new car. What does purchase mean? So what is the meaning of purchased? A, bought. B, brought. C, borrowed. D, made. What did the teacher do with a new car? What do people would do new car? They do what? Some people purchase new cars. So what is the meaning of purchase here? Think about it. Let me read question number 4. Henry is broke. Broke in this sentence means what? A, Henry found money. B, Henry has no money. C, Henry stole money. D, Henry borrowed money. Which one is the correct answer? For number 1, the teacher purchased a new car. Purchase simply means bought. Yani kharidan. The teacher purchased, past tense. So buy, bought, purchase, purchased. They have exactly the same meaning. So purchase is more formal English, and buy is what? Informal English. So purchase, bought. Henry is broke. Broke means what? The correct answer is Henry has no money. So Henry is the name of the person. He's broke. It means, in idiomatic English, it means somebody who doesn't have any money left. این لغت broke اگرچه که موضوع لغت break از break broke اما در اینجا یک معنای اصطلاحی داره و معنای اصطلاحی broke است کسی بگه که I'm broke معنایش است که من دیگه هیچ پیسه ندارم. So if you say Henry is broke means what? He has no money at all. Okay, somebody says I'm broke means what? I have no money at all. So that doesn't mean that break broke. So please repeat. Purchased means buy, and broke means no money. Number 5. Slide means what? A, stop. B, exit. C, stop. D, move. What is the meaning of slide? Like you slide a door, for example. What does that mean? Number 6. Steal means A, break. B, bring back. C, rob. And D, spend. So the correct meaning for slide is what? When you slide something, you move it. Okay? Slide it means what? Move it. Steal simply means what? Rob. In Farsi, steal and rob have the same meaning. It means what? Duzdidan. Okay? So steal means the same thing as rob. It means duzdidan. So slide means move and steal means rob. Please repeat. Slide, move, steal, rob. Number 7. Repair means, we studied these words, A, build, B, fix, C, buy, D, damage. Remember, when your car breaks down, you repair it. You take it to a mechanic shop. So what does the mechanic do? He repairs it. So what does repair mean? Build, fix, buy, or damage. Number 8. Some people eat the peel of an orange. Peel means A, seed, B, section, C, skin, and D, juice. So the answer for number 7, repair means A, B, C, D. The correct answer is, of course, what? Fix, B. When you repair your car, you fix it. When you repair anything, you fix it. Okay, it simply means fix. So fix and repair have exactly the same meaning. So the peel means, the peel of an orange simply means what? The skin of the orange is called peel. We studied these words before. So please repeat after me. Repair, fix, peel, skin. The last 2 questions. Number 9. A receptionist is a person who A, extinguishes fires, B, designs buildings, C, looks at x-rays, and D, answers phones. So if somebody is a receptionist, what kind of a job does this person have? In other words, what does a receptionist do? Does a receptionist extinguish fires, kills fires? Does a receptionist designs building? Does a receptionist look at x-rays? Does a receptionist answer phones? Which one is the correct answer? A, B, C, or D? Number 10. A cab driver is a person who A, fixes cars, B, buys cars and sells cars, and D, collects old cars, D, drives taxis. The correct answer for number 9, a receptionist is a person who, of course, D, answers phones. And for number 10, the answer is what? D, drives taxis. Okay? So now, please repeat after me. Receptionist. Receptionist answers phones. Cab driver drives taxis. So what we're going to do now, so that was the old vocabulary, something that we did before. It was a review, it was a warm-up. What I'm going to teach you now is something new. You never heard it before. It's a story that I chose for you to read to you. I will read it 2 times and then you answer questions about it. در قسمت درس listening comprehension خدمت شما تقدیم میکنم که ما یک 2-3 پاراگراف کوتاه را خدمت شما قرائت میکنم و بعد از قرائت ازی، بعد از خواندن ازی، از شما توقع می است که سوالای من را راجع به می پاراگراف شما جواب بدین. و البته پیش از اینکه پاراگراف را با شما قرائت بکنم و بخوانم، لغاتی که در این پاراگراف است و سوالایی که راجع به پاراگراف دارم، این خدمت شما به انگلیسی تقدیم میکنم. So let's see if you can get that. The words that you need to know is what? This. What do you call this picture? You call this what? We have the same word for it, I think, in Farsi, and that's what? Train. So please repeat. Train. Train. Of course, this is a very old-fashioned train, but trains could be what? Other types as well. Like we could have what? More than one train. We can have what? 3 different trains here. You could see different types of trains. So please repeat. 1 train, 2 trains. So the plural of train is what? Trains. In English, every time you make it 2 or 3 or more, you put S with most nouns. You put S with the noun. So please repeat. Train. Trains. 2 trains. 3 trains. What do you call this? So you see this in English? Oh, it's the answer I give you already. It's called newspaper. And then you can see also newspaper what? In Farsi. So please repeat, newspaper. Newspaper, one word, newspaper. What do you call this? A place where there are very tall buildings and the buildings are very close to one another, like San Francisco. It's called what? It's called a city. Okay? So these two pictures are pictures of what? A city. Please repeat, city. City. And then we have country. Country is like a village, a place far away from the city. A city, the buildings are close to one another, they're tall buildings, there's not a lot of space, a lot of freeways, a lot of traffic, a lot of noise. In a country, there's a lot of space. Buildings are not very close to one another. They're not tall buildings. So country has two meanings. For example, you could say what? Mexico is a country. Afghanistan is a country. United States is a country. That's the same spelling, same pronunciation, same everything. Country also means what? A place far away from a city. So if somebody says, I live in a country, in the country, it means what? I live in a place which is not in the city, it's far away from the city. A village, a suburb is a country. Like you can see these pictures. This is the picture of what? The country. So please repeat, country. Now, this picture, I couldn't show you a picture, but when you do this, it means what? You lean your body forward. So this means lean forward. Lean forward. Lean means like this. Like I want to answer this phone, I lean forward. I want to touch this computer, I lean forward. Lean backward, lean forward. Okay, that's how that lean means. Now, these are the words that we studied. So I want you to repeat after me the words first. They're not a lot of words. It's very easy listening. And then I will read the passage for you. So please repeat. Train. Train. Newspaper. Newspaper. City. City. Country. Country. Lean forward. Lean forward. Tap. Tap. Tap is something I didn't teach you, but I'll tell you the meaning in 1 minute. Seat. Seat. So train is what? I showed you a picture. You go from one place into another. Some people use a bus. Other people use a plane. You can also travel by what? By train. Okay? So it's a means of transportation. Newspaper, we all know that. I showed you pictures. It's a daily paper. You read news in it. City is a place where what? There are many people live. Many people live there. The buildings are very close to one another. Tall building like San Francisco is what? A city. New York is what? A city. Okay? And then we have country, a place far away from the city. Lean forward, move one's body forward. Okay? And tap simply means what? Touch. Like I'm tapping my shoulder now. Tap. Tap means touch. I'm tapping on the table. I'm touching the table. Okay? Tap. And then seat means a chair. Like I'm sitting on this seat. Car seat. When you sit in a car, you sit on a car seat. Seats. Okay. So it's another word for chair. But in a car, you don't call it car chair. You call it car seat. So please repeat one more time. Train. Newspaper. City. Country. Lean forward. Tap. Seat. Now, I have 3 questions for you. I will read the passage 2 times, and then I'll ask you these 3 questions. So as I read to you, you listen, and then find the answers for these 3 questions. Dari qismat ma ami چند پاراگرافی که ترتیب کردیم بر شما ایرا به انگلیسی قرائت میکنم بر شما و توقع ما شما است که جواب امی 3 سوال شما از امی چیزی که بر شما قرائت میکنم از این پاراگراف شما اینو پیدا بکنید. یعنی توقع ما این است که شما تمام پاراگراف رو بفهمید. اگر شما بتونید که از این 3 سوال 2 سوالش هم جواب بگوین معنیش است که شما بسیار فهمیدید. Okay? So let's try that one. So I'm going to read this. First one, how did Mr. Smith go to his office every day? So Mr. Smith is the name of a person. He goes to his office. I'm going to read something to you. You tell me, does he use a bus? Does he use a car? Does he use a taxi? Does he use a train? Does he use a plane? Does he use a boat? How does he go to his office? Okay? So listen to me and figure out the answer. Number 2, what happened to him on the train one morning? So something happens to Mr. Smith in one of these mornings when he goes to work. I want you to tell me what happened to him. Why did the man know so much about Mr. Smith? So there is a man that meets Mr. Train and he knows so much about him, a lot of information. So I want you to listen and tell me, why does this man know so much about him? What's the reason? How does he know this? So please listen. So I will read it 2 times. This is reading number 1. I will read the questions again. How did Mr. Smith go to his office every day? What happened to him on the train one morning? Why did the man know so much about Mr. Smith? Okay, so please listen. And this is kind of funny story. So if you could laugh at the end, that would be great. Okay, that means you understood the whole thing. So please listen to me carefully. Mr. Smith lived in the country, but he worked in an office in a big city. So 5 days a week, he went to work by train every morning and came home the same way. One morning, he was reading his newspaper on the train when a man sitting behind him, whom Mr. Smith had never met before, leaned forward, tapped him on the shoulder, and spoke to him. The man said, "You don't have an interesting life, do you? You get on the same train, at the same station, at the same time, every morning, and you always sit in the same seat and read the same newspaper." Mr. Smith put his paper down, turned around, and talked to the man angrily. He said, "How do you know all this about me?" "Because I always sit in the same seat behind you," the man answered. Did you get the joke? Okay, let me read it one more time. Listening number 2. Mr. Smith lived in the country, but he worked in an office in a big city. So 5 days a week, he went to work by train every morning and came home the same way. One morning, he was reading his newspaper on the train when a man sitting behind him, whom Mr. Smith had never met before, leaned forward and tapped him on the shoulder and spoke to him. The man said, "You don't have an interesting life, do you? You get on the same train, at the same station, and the same time every morning, and you always sit in the same seat and read the same newspaper." Mr. Smith put his paper down, turned around, and said to the man angrily, "How do you know all this about me?" "Because I always sit in the same seat behind you," the man answered. Okay, now let me see if you could answer some questions about this passage. Question number 1. How did Mr. Smith go to his office every day? Did he go by a taxi? Did he go by a car? Did he go by a train? Or did he fly? How did he go to work? The correct answer is Mr. Smith went to his office by train. Right. He went to his office. Did you have the same answer? If you have the same answer, you didn't understand the whole thing, then this is good. You found what is the message, which is this person goes to work by train. Question number 2. What happened to him on the train one morning? So what happened to him? A man touched him, tapped him on the shoulder. A man touched him on the shoulder. That's what happened. Why did the man know so much about him? The answer is because he was always sitting behind him. In other words, the man knows so much about Mr. Smith because he was always sitting behind him in the same seat. Let me read these answers, the questions and the answers, and then I have more questions for you. How did Mr. Smith go to his office every day? Mr. Smith went to his office by train. What happened to him on the train one morning? A man touched him. A man touched him on the shoulder. Why did the man know so much about Mr. Smith? Because he was always sitting behind him. The man knew so much about Mr. Smith because he was always sitting behind him. Now, I certainly hope you had the right answers. And now I have more questions for you. So these sentences are based on what you heard. You circle. If the sentence is correct, you circle T. If the sentence is not correct, you circle F. Okay? So it is true, false questions. در این قسمت ما 5 سوال دیگه هم راجع به می پاراگرافی که بر شما من قرائت کردم دارم و در مقابل هر جمله ازی T و F نوشته شده. T مثل true یعنی درست از جواب و F مثل که جمله غلط باشه. با اساس چیزی که شما شنیدین آیا این جملات درست است یا غلط است. نه از نقطه نظر گرامرش مطلقاً صحیح است، اما از نظر پیغامی که است، از نظر ازی که آیا شما در داستان امیر رقم فهمیده بودین. So sentence number 1. Mr. Smith did not go to his office in the weekend. Is that correct? Did Mr. Smith go to his office in the weekend? You know, weekend means what? Saturday and Sunday. So how many days a week did he go to his office? Do you remember that? Number 2. While Mr. Smith was reading his newspaper, he touched a man on the shoulder. Did he do that? Did he touch another man or did the other man touch him? True or false? So if you think it is correct, circle T. If you think it's false, circle F. The man sitting behind Mr. Smith saw Mr. Smith for the first time on the train. Was this the first time that this man saw Mr. Smith or he saw him before? True or false? Number 4. The man thought Mr. Smith's life was interesting. Did he think his life was interesting or boring? You tell me now. True or false? Mr. Smith always read a book on the train. Did Mr. Smith read a book or did he read something else? Now, if you think he read a book, circle T. If you think that he read something else, that I showed you a picture of it, circle F. Now, let's see what the correct answers are. Sentence number 1. Mr. Smith did not go to his office in the weekend. The correct answer is true. He went to his office 5 days a week. Means what? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It means Saturday and Sunday, the weekend, he did not go. So the answer is correct. Number 2. While Mr. Smith was reading his paper, he touched a man on the shoulder. Did he touch a man in the shoulder or the other man touched him? The correct answer is F. He didn't touch anybody. Another person touched him. Number 3. The man sitting behind Mr. Smith saw Mr. Smith for the first time. The correct answer is should be false, and it doesn't want to work for some reason. So, okay, it came. False, because this man was sitting behind him what? Every day. He saw him every day. It was not the first time. Sentence number 4. The man thought Mr. Smith's life was interesting. Is that the right answer? Of course not. The man thought what? He actually said that you have a very boring life. Don't you? Okay? So the answer is false. Mr. Smith always read a book on the train. Did he read a book? No. He read what? Newspaper. Okay? So that's what the answers are. Let me read these sentences with correct answers and then you'll move to the next page. Mr. Smith did not go to his office in the weekend. Correct. Because weekend means what? Saturday and Sunday. Like I offer these lessons on Iman TV in the weekend, on Saturdays. While Mr. Smith was reading his paper, he touched a man on the shoulder. Wrong. F. Why? Because another man touched him. Number 3. The man sitting behind Mr. Smith saw Mr. Smith for the first time on the train. That's also what? False. Because he saw him every day. The man thought Mr. Smith's life was interesting. The opposite. He thought Mr. Smith's life was boring. Number 5. Mr. Smith always read a book on the train. That's false, because he always read what? Newspaper on the train. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the passage of this reading, and we will read it together. But what I want you to do, we studied past tense in the past, so I want you to underline the verbs that are in the past and then circle past continuous. Okay? So let's read the passage. Some of it's on this page, a few other sentences on the other page. So let me read this one for you. You could look at it and then you will see which verbs are in past tense and which verbs are in past continuous tense. Mrs. Smith lived in the country, but he worked in an office in a big city. So 5 days a week, he went to work by train every morning and came home the same way. In this paragraph, which verbs are in the past form? Mrs. Smith lived. So lived is one of them. Why? Ed is there. But he worked. Worked is another one. Ed is there. So he went to the work by train. So went is what? Irregular verb. Doesn't have ed. We studied that. And came home the same way. Come, came. Another irregular verb. So combination of what? Regular and irregular. Regular is easy to recognize. Why? There is ed. But irregular is not. Next paragraph. One morning, he was reading his newspaper on the train when a man sitting behind him, whom Mr. Smith had never met before, leaned forward, tapped him on the shoulder, and spoke to him. The man said, "You don't have an interesting life, do you? You get on the same train, at the same station, at the same time, every morning, and you always sit in the same seat and read the same newspaper." So the verbs that are in the past here are what? Met. What else? Leaned. What else? Tapped. What else? Spoke. See? It's easy to recognize leaned and tapped, but it's not easy to recognize met and spoke. But these are what? Irregular verbs. Every week we go over these words. So that's why I want you to recognize these words. And then what? Other verbs are basically these were the past forms. Next paragraph. Mr. Smith put his paper down, turned around, and said to the man angrily, "How do you know all this about me?" So which verb or verbs are in the past form here? And he put is what? Past tense. And then what? Turned is past tense. Sit is past tense. And then answered in the next paragraph, because I always sit in the same seat behind you, the man answered. Again, so answered is easy because there is an ed to recognize. Turned is easy because there is an ed to recognize. But put, see, put, irregular verb. All three forms are the same. And said is also not, so say, said. So there is no regular, so it's also irregular verb. And in the previous page, we had only one past progressive form. That's one morning he was reading. So you put was or were before verb ing, it becomes what? Past continuous tense. So this is the reading passage. I certainly hope that you understood it. So now let's see if you remember the story. So I read it for you 2 times. You answered questions. Now let's see if you remember anything about the story. دي قسمة ما با شما دو بار داستان خواندم و سوالا را هم شما در میان گذاشتم با شما و جواب گفتین. شاید سوالات شما باز جوابات درست بوده باشه، بازش نه. در این قسمت میخوایم که راجع به داستانی که با شما ما ایره با انگلیسی قرائت کردم ببینید که چه قضیه به یاد شما است. با زبان فارسی یا با زبان انگلیسی، especially in English, you could tell me what is it that you remember. So what was this story about? You don't have to say exactly the same word. You say it in your own word. ضرور نیست که با مو لغاتی که ما با شما ایره قرائت کردم با مو لغاتی رو بگوین. میتونین که با مو انگلیسی که خود شما یاد دارین با مو انگلیسی خود بگوین که شما از این درس چی فهمیدین، این داستان چطور بود. و so let's start that. The first one is what? There was a man. یک نفری اونجا بود و the name of this man was what? Mrs. Smith. So what did Mrs. Smith do? He lived what? Far away from the city. So he had to go to work. What did he do? He went to work by train. And then what? One day on the train, somebody touched him on the shoulder. And the man said, what? Your life is very boring. You sit on the same seat, you read the same newspaper, you get on the same train, everything is same. Your life is boring. That's what the man said. And then Mrs. Smith said what? He became very angry and talked to him and said, how do you know all this about me? And the man said what? Because I always sit behind you. So this is kind of a summary of the story, retelling the story. So there was a man, his name was Mrs. Smith. He lived far away from the city. He went to work by train. One day a man touched him on the shoulder. The man said that your life is boring. And the man said that what? He did the same thing over and over and over again. And Mrs. Smith became what? Very angry and said what? How do you know this all about me? And the man said what? Because I basically sit behind you on the same seat behind you. So in other words, both of them had what? Boring life. They did the same thing over and over and over again. Okay. Now let's go to the next part. The next part of this lesson that I have for you is the irregular verb. There is not enough time to review and review and review because they appear when you read, they appear in the passage when you hear. So you need to use them when you need to write or when you need to speak. So it's always good to review so that you can easily remember the correct form. So the verbs that I want you to practice today are 10 words. As always, every week I give you these words. So please repeat after me together. Lead, leave, lend, let, lie, light, lose, make, mean, and meet. So the past tense of lead is what? Led. I give you the meaning of these words before. Leave is what? Left. Lend is what? Lent. Let is let. Lie is lay. Light is lit or lighted. Lose, lost. Make, made. Mean, meant. And meet, met. این تمام از این افعال بی‌قاعده انگلیسی است که مثل که برای شما چندین بار عرض کردیم که اینا وقتی که شما انگلیسی نوشته میکنین یا انگلیسی میخوانین یا میخواین صحبت بکنین شما به این افعال ضرورت دارین، اما متاسفانه چون اینا بی‌قاعده هستن به اون خاطر است که اینا قوانین گرامری را اینا تعقیب نمیکنن. ما باید است که امی اشکال مختلف از این فعلا را باید به حفظ داشته باشیم. به اون خاطر است که من همیشه تکرار میکنم. مثلا ماضی شکل لید میشه، یعنی ایش از بین میره و تلفظش تغییر میکنه. لید معنای رهبری کردن است و لید پستنسش است، ماضیش است. لیو left. لند لغت کمک مشکل است. لند معنایش قرض دادن است. The bank lends money. یعنی بانک ها به مردم قرض میدن. Right? So when you give money to somebody, you lend them. It doesn't need to be money, it could be something else. You could lend your car to somebody, or you could book or somebody, it's something else. Okay. Lie is clear. Light, lose, make, mean, met, meet. And the past participle is what? Led, led, left, left. Lent, lent, let, let. Let با معنای اجازه دادن است. So, let me tell you something. اجازه بدین بر شما یک چیزی بگویم. Let your son use your car. But پسرتان اجازه بدین که موتور شما استفاده بکنه. So let simply means what? Permit, allow. And then light, lit, lighted, lost, lose, lost, made is made, and meant is meant, and met is met. Now please repeat after me these three forms together, then we're going to practice them in sentences. Please repeat after me together. Lead, led, led. توجه بکنین با تغییر تلفظش و توجه بکنین با تغییر سپلنگش یا املایش که lead L-E-A-D اما وقتی که پس میسازین ایش از بین میره تنها L-E-D میمونه و تلفظش هم تغییر میخوره ایوازی lead led میشه. Number 2 leave left left lend lent lent let same thing. Lie, lay, lane. Light, let, lighted. Lose, lost, lost. Make, made, made. And then mean, meant, meant. And meet, met, met. Now, I have some sentences for you. So, the first 5 words are verbs: lead, leave, lend, let, and lie. So what I want you to do is what? Use each of these words in the spots below, in the blank spaces, and make sure that you use the correct form. So the قسمت دیگه 5 از این 5 فعل بر شما در این باکس نوشته کردیم و توقع ما شما است که این دمی جملات دمی خالیگاه جملات استفاده بکنین و شما 2 مسئولیت دارید. اولی که از نظر معنا ببینید که این لغت دمی وفق داره، درست است، و دیگه از نظر شکل این زمان ماضی است یا زمان حال است یا حال جوری است یا آینده است یا با کدام شکل این میتونید استفاده کنید. آیا سابجکت جمله یا فاعل جمله مفرد است یا جمع است. شما این را با تمام این ملحوظات در نظر گرفته شکل درستش و از نظر معنا و نظر شکل در هر جمله استفاده کنید. Let me read these sentences for you first. Simin, her son, used her car last week. Number 2. Dr. Smith, California in 2002. Bank of America, money to its customers every year. Kings and presidents, their countries. John down on sofa because he was tired yesterday. So the answer for Simin is what? Simin let her son use her car last week. let اینجا به معنای اجازه دادن است. یعنی خانم سیمین هر کسی که هست با پسر خود اجازه داد که از موتورش استفاده بکنه. She let her son use her car. Dr. Smith, California in 2002. Left California. So, because 2002 is in the past, you say what? Left. Bank of America, money to its customer every year, lends money. یعنی قرضه میده برای مشتریای خود. Kings and presidents, their countries. What? Lead their countries. رهبری میکنه از مملکت خود. Lead means رهبری کردن. And John down on sofa because he was tired. Lay down. Past tense, yesterday. Lie, lay is the past tense. Let me read these sentences with correct completion. Simin let her son use her car last night. Dr. Smith left California in 2002. Bank of America lends money to its customers every year. Kings and presidents lead their countries. John lay down on a sofa because he was very tired yesterday. Now, the last page, before we end the lesson, the words are light, lose, make, mean, and meet. Same thing. try to use the correct word in the sentence meaning wise and then use the correct form. در این قسمت بازم مثل صفحه گذشته اول یک لغت رو انتخاب بکنید که از نظر معنا در جمله وفق داشته باشه، استعمال شه و درست باشه. و دیگه از نظر شکل که آیا ماضی است یا آل است یا آینده است، از نظر شکل لغت هم باید این جمله به اصطلاح فت کنه یا درست باشه و وفق بکنه. So let's do it together. Because of an illness, John wait. Is the carpenter a chair now? Mrs. Johnson, new customers every day. What the sofa, couch. Please use a lighter to the candle. So, because of an illness, John lost weight. Lose معنای باختن است. Lose weight یعنی وزن باختن. Lost weight یعنی وزن باخت. It's past tense. Is the carpenter a chair now? Because of now, at this moment, لحظة. Now, you have to say what? Is the carpenter making a chair now? A carpenter, Najab, makes a chair. Mr. Johnson, new customers every day. So what does Mr. Johnson do? Mr. Johnson meets new customers every day. Because of every day, and we need to use what? The simple form of the verb, the present form. And because Johnson is singular, you have to put that S with the verb. یعنی به خاطر از اینکه چون لغت everyday هر روز است با شکل حال فعل استعمال شود، اما چون فاعل جمله Mr. Johnson مفرد است، وقتی که فاعل مفرد باشه و زمان حال باشه در انگلیسی باید حرف S یا ES در فعل اضافه شود. این آن meets میشه. That's why Mr. Johnson meets new customers every day. What does sofa mean? In other words, what's the meaning of sofa? Sofa means couch. Please use a lighter to what? Light the candle. What is candle? It is a picture. Okay? So, now let me read these sentences with correct completion. Because of an illness, John lost weight. Is the carpenter making a chair now? Mr. Johnson meets new customers every day. What does sofa mean? Sofa means couch. Please use a lighter to light the candle. Candle is, the picture there is shama. So now, this is the end of our lesson number 34. So my expectation is that what? You review these lessons. If this lesson was too difficult for you, then please go to the YouTube. These lessons have been all loaded there by our very able and competent engineer, Omid John. So please start from lesson number 1. درس امروز ما به الله بسیار محترم و همینجا به پایان رسید. تا هفته آینده شما را به خداوند متعال میسپارم. با اساس خواهش شما و سفارش شما ما بعض قسمت‌های درس با زبان دری خدمت شما تقدیم کردم. همچنان این درس 34 است. اگر شما از این درس شروع میکنین و مشکل می داشته باشین، معنیش است که درس‌های پیشتر شما نخواندین یا وقت از این بر شما پیدا نشده که از شروع پروگرام مرا تعقیب بکنین. پس شما میتونین که به یوتیوب برین، همین درس‌های از درس اول شروع بکنین. این درس 34 است. اوازی است که درس اول آسان‌تر است و با مرور زمان و به تدریج به اصطلاح این درس‌ها آهسته مشکل‌تر و سویش بالاتر رفته. دیگه خواهش ما شما است اگر این بسیار براتون مشکل بوده، لطفاً به درس اول برین. امید جان که انجینیر تکنیکی ماست، نام خدا همه درس‌ها را به یوتیوب لود کرده اونجا گذاشته و شما میتونین که به یوتیوب برین، فقط تایپ کنین که ایمان تیوی یا نوشته کنین که English Lessons with Dr. Popal. اگر میرید در قسمت سرچ یوتیوب نوشته کنین English Lessons with Dr. Popal and click تمام درس‌های ما به یوتیوب میآید و شما میتونین که درس‌ها را تکرار کنین. بر ترتیب خداوند روزه و نماز شما را قبول بکنه، طاعت و عبادت‌های شما قبول باشه و I will see you next week. Thank you very much.